Welcome to the Two Alphas Talk. We're live tonight. It's a real special show for us. We hope you'll enjoy it, and we know we will because we're going to put a real good effort to it. We have from Responsibly Armed, Miss Keisha Bibbs, and we will discuss all things firearms and Second Amendment related endeavors with her for you. But first, we have some information updates, and we're going to go to our sponsor first.
Yep, go to our sponsor first, and these guys are some tripped out guys here, and they always help us out in a pinch. You know,
the best help is self-help.
The best help. The company's name is Saber Team Tactical, and it's type in saberteamtactical.com. Come to the first page, then you're going to go right up. You can go to the read about us. Got our bios in there. Got a few pictures. Got a contact. But the most important right there, you have our classes.
Yep, and our most favored class is the private one-on-one class. And that class will allow you to be evaluated by one of our instructors. And then from that point, we will progress and get you up to speed as far as gun handling, gun safety. That's utmost, and we will send you on a course so that you can progress into the future. We have 2 classes coming up at the end for the end of the year, and that will be our rifle and PCC class and the rifle and tactical gear class. In the PCC class, you will push your rifle to the limit. You will learn how to run that gun and with reloads and keeping your sight picture and all that good stuff. Keep everything tight. But the one where you guys out there with gear, rifle and tactical gear class, will put you to a test. It will put you to a test. And when I say put you to a test, I can't say it enough. So if you got anything from Wish, or you have something that's kind of subject and you kind of wonder if it's really going to hold up, bring it out and test it.
Yep, because I'm going to try to break it or break you, one of the two. No, it's not, It's not that tough.
No.
Also,
but it will. It's a good test.
Right. The class is a class I taught active duty. And so I have years of experience in ground reconnaissance. And so this class was developed in the Army to help our reconnaissance forces fight a little bit better as a close-knit unit. And so I took out certain stuff in this class, and I started to put it together for the civilian side. So it's got no explosives. And so that's one of the things it has. But go to this online store here and take advantage of this. We have tactical medical supplies you can get from that store, and various other things like swag and things of that nature. And also, we make, let's see if you can see it. I just made this today. I hate this camera.
No, put it in front of your shirt.
There it is.
There you
Look
go.
at that. Yeah, that is a canine dog plaque. And so I make plaques and stuff. I got a show coming up on October 15th in Marietta Square. That's where we'll be, and from 9 to 5. Now let's go into the state of Georgia, our governor's race. Our governor's race here is, a lot of people don't realize, but the polls are at 6.2. Governor Kemp is in the lead over Stacey Abrams. So that is a positive sign, and they're trying to get black men to get out and vote for the Democratic Party, but majority of black men are voting on the conservative side. So we'll see how this thing's going to play out. There's no cheating going to be allowed this time, so there it is. So now let's bring in our special guest, and boom. Let me set this up again. You always got to set this thing up. All right, got it in here twice. There you go. We got you in here twice.
Yes, I'm on there twice.
Oh, okay. So let me.
Just
What's
one time?
I'm gonna give you the better video of you.
Take your pick.
Because one of them's got to come out, and I think it's this one. That one's coming out, and this one's going in. Boom! There we go. Look at that.
Love it.
All right. So go ahead and introduce yourself.
So I am Keisha Bibbs. I am the founder, owner of Responsibly Armed Self-Defense and Tactical here in the Middle Georgia area. I am a firearms instructor. And what else you want to know? I froze.
You froze? No, you're not. No, you're not.
No,
you're
we
good.
still got you live. We still got you live.
You're live. Your computer froze, but we got you live. Go ahead, Al. Start out.
Yeah, well.
Oh, hold on a minute, real quick. Let me make an announcement. We're on. Do that. We're on YouTube, the Two Alphas Talk. We're on Twitch, Saber Team 19. We are on Facebook, Saber Team Tactical LLC. So any of you guys out there, please go to those channels, put a like, and support us. All right. Go ahead now.
First and foremost, Keisha, we're going to get this out of the way because I saw this on another interview you did. Where you originally from?
From College Park.
No, hell no. And look, I ain't from around here, and I know that's not how it's said. But
I'm from College Park.
There you go.
Yeah.
Much respect.
Born and raised.
Appreciate that. That's it. See, when we with all these newcomers, you got to get in and fit in. You know what I mean? You can't just bring 33rd 3rd Street down here. You know what I mean? But anyway, we're gonna move on.
So somebody asked me today. Somebody asked me today. They was like, "Where are you from?" And I said, "Atlanta." They said, "Where?" I said, "Atlanta." And it's Atlanta for everybody else, but it's Atlanta.
Right. And that's how you can tell the infiltrators. That's how you can tell the infiltrators from the West Coast. No, that way. That guy over there.
Who, me? Yeah.
You West Coast guys.
Yeah.
Okay, so I know a few of the answers, but I'm going to ask them anyway, just because we've met previously to tonight. So how long have you been in firearms?
So I've been in firearms. Yeah, so I started out some 20-something odd years ago just as a hobby. When the world started to change and we found a need to protect ourselves and do something a little bit differently, I got involved with a female gun club where I served as the vice president. After that, I learned that there were other opportunities out here for me to empower others, educate others on what I know and what I love. You mentioned your classes earlier, your advanced classes or the ways you take steps. So I came to you as a student, wanting to learn more and wanting to increase my skills and make sure that whatever I'm giving to someone else, that I can do myself. So with that, it has turned into a passion, a labor of love that I want to educate, equip, and empower other women to do exactly what I do. And that's to protect myself and my family and be able to handle a firearm in a way that, most women are not comfortable doing.
Right. And I'm gonna take it like down and not so formal, because I'll just give you a little story about this lady right here. So she shows up and she says it was like a basic class. Like I'm treating it as though she just bought her own first time firearm, and we're talking and we're going over safety, because I'm thinking she's brand new, never fired a gun before. So we're gonna do this real step by step, real slow. And as we go along, load the gun, get out. First one, she put like 3 rounds on top of each other. And I looked at it. I said, okay, maybe beginner's luck. And I know, I'm good. Maybe she's listening to me, because that's why how good I am. So we go on, and it was like maybe 5 or 6 minutes. And I looked at her and I said, wait a minute. I thought you said you would. She said, no. I need the extra stuff. I need the reloads. I need the moving and shooting. I'm good with this.
Right.
Why the hell are we doing this? And we both started laughing, because it was like, she said, hey, I'm going along with you. And as we progressed, it was a really quick transition, because after that it was, all right, look, this is how we roll, because now it's we're going to get that one shot from the holster to the target down. Now we're going to get, and I'm giving a leeway at 3 seconds and thinking, oh, that's just pretty good. We're going to drop that down to a second and a half. an atlas, and it was flying. And at that point, that leads into my next question, which is, do you participate in gun competitions? Let's say that.
So I do.
And if so, which ones?
So I haven't been as active because I've done more classes, trying to make sure everybody get what they need. But I have done IDPA, USPCA, and we have some local matches here in the Middle Georgia area. So whenever I can get in, I do that. Some bullseye shooting. That was my first time recently doing some bullseye shooting, and it's at 25 yards, and you got a circle about that big. So being able to come in where I came in, I was pretty stoked about it.
What was that? What number was that?
It was 8 out of 16 for my first time. I felt like it was pretty good.
Start.
I was on the other side of, so I was pretty happy about that. But really just trying now. I train because I want to make sure that whatever I tell someone else that I can do. So all the tactical stuff, rolling around on the ground, all that stuff, I love it. I don't have a military background. I'm not a police officer. I'm just a girl that likes to shoot. And I think that there's an opportunity for people like me. But I also want to be able to protect my family. If I'm out and about, I want to be able to do that. But at the same time, I am humble enough to know that I'm not some of these other women out here that, can shoot a fly off the wall. I could, but I'm not trying to be that. So. Right.
So on that same note, what you said in reference to the game, still stick with the competition. There's another thing, you're being real humble right now, and I know that because the GSSF, you did pretty good in that one too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I do the Glock.
See? I did my research.
I forgot it. Yeah. So Al has been great. He's been a great mentor, a great resource. So I wanted to get into doing Glock competitions. I really just wanted to get into it so I can get a free gun. I mean, that was my motivation.
That's a good one. They give out plenty.
So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go get me a gun. So I tried to get Al to come with me to a couple of competitions, but my mom and family started supporting me at those competitions. So I shot like 498 out of 500. I was like, I'm done. I did it already. So, but I love it. I haven't had an opportunity to go out recently, but love it.
I remember the first one, it was about 300 and I was giving you, oh, that's good. That's okay. Nah. And you like, so what's your number? You don't want to talk about that. You're not ready for that yet. And then it was like, okay, your goal was to be perfect, get a 500. And it was like, that's when you do the calculations, you can come up with an actual number of how many rounds you need at a certain level, because it's a little leeway, not much, but it's a little leeway where you don't have to be what we would call perfect, where everything has to go in the bullseye, but you can still get a 500, and it's just a little bit like that much that you have leeway.
I take it however it comes.
Exactly.
So that's been a really good experience for me, because it's really about me against me when I'm on those competitions. It's not a lot of women out there. It's not a lot of Black women out there, and it's mostly men, and it's not even a lot of Black men. So just being out there, when I did the bullseye competition, it was one Black guy and one Black female, and all the rest of them were old men, white men that's been shooting for years. So.
And they know the drift. They know when the wind blows, what they have to do for it, and that's how you have to learn from.
I'm about to say, those guys got a lot of experience. The only thing you got to do is pull them aside and pick their ear and just be friendly with them, and they will lay all the secrets on you.
Especially her. If they laying them on me, I know they're giving the secrets to you.
So like there's this guy, one of my optics. You were talking about rifles earlier, and like he has this little card that he can tell the windage, and if the distance is this, he needs to change his optic to that. So I'm like, I need you in my life. So he's kind of helped me understand the little.
That's long distance shooting.
The dope.
That's long distance. You can do it with a computer.
Some people call it dope card.
Yeah. And we got our buddy.
Yeah, we're gonna hold on to that one because we're getting there.
Rick.
That's a good one.
We're gonna ask the question here in a little bit.
We got one for that too.
Please watch the whole show, Rick. Don't be watching your gymnastic, whatever you're gonna watch. Yeah. Just juicy,
So,
whatever.
as you see, we keep it light. You know, we we're serious about most of the things, but at the same time, our presentation, you know, we have levels here. So one of the things that as what Rick was looking at is Al, it was one of your questions actually.
What's that?
So that one, do you feel that?
What
how
number?
do you feel about female instructors that use their
Oh, yeah,
sexuality in ads?
Yeah. Because that's one of my pet peeves. I hate female instructors when they're showing sexuality in their shooting style and classes, and it's making no sense when they're trying to pitch to women. So guys will look at it, but they won't go take that class.
So here's what I found. Women want to see strong women. Women want to see powerful women. So the people that come to my class, the people that I run into, the people that are attracted to what I offer are people that are looking for someone that's confident, someone that's strong, someone that's powerful, someone that they want to imitate. Not necessarily sexy. They want to see somebody that looks good. They want to see somebody that carry themselves well, but it's not the sex for a woman. They want to see somebody that can get them moving and talk their language right where they are.
Right.
I don't know what happened. That was
still here.
Al did something. I'm blaming on him. All right. Go ahead.
But
sorry about that. I didn't do anything.
I'll just blame it on you.
I have been very hesitant to even put my picture out there, my face out there, because it's not about me and the sexuality. There's a place for it for some people. I mean, we got OnlyFans, right? So some people like that type of stuff.
Millions of dollars too.
That's not the end. That's not what I was talking about. But mostly the guys, what I'm talking about is women. I see a lot of women on the Instagram where they're wearing yoga pants, low cut tops, and they have the firearm on their waist, their hip, and mostly instead of showing their style is worse than beginner level, but they're mostly, it's all about them, and they're getting a lot of likes and stuff, and because the way they look, and the guys are pumping them up and all this other good stuff. But if you really look at her style, it's like, how are you getting any students when you can barely shoot yourself? You know what I'm saying?
Right. So
So here's the deal.
Go ahead.
Sex sales.
Yeah,
sex sales, sexuality.
I've been trying
sales.
to get Al in the two-piece to take some pictures for the longest. He won't do it.
Whoa.
Thank you.
Not all that.
Thank you.
There's what'd you say, Al? There's levels to
levels.
Levels.
Right. Absolutely.
So the thing I think that when you are talking about someone who is serious about their safety, about their protection, they are going to look for someone that emulates them. So no, a guy is not going to come to a class. Well, some guys might come to my class thinking that, oh yeah, she's pretty and this, that, and the other, I can get at her. But there's a level of respect that comes with that. So you just can't show up in my class and thinking you're going to, just talk to me. No, you got to talk to me on a level that's going to get me thinking about how am I going to stay safe? Can you protect me? Do I have to protect you while we out? No.
And me, I have minimum words for my students until we get on the range. I don't talk to them offline. I don't talk to them back channels, not unless they ask them some equipment questions or some tactical questions. Other than that, I have no gossip for you.
Well, I don't have gossip, but I do keep in touch with my students. I want to make sure that they're okay, because it's not what I do is serve. I'm here to serve my students and my clients and make sure that they are at the next level, that they don't just get this gun and say, I took a class and then they stop. I want them to keep going and learning, so I do check in with them. I make sure that they're okay. I make sure they have the latest information about, guns, the changes in guns, the changes in the gun laws. Don't be out here crazy and not know, because that's on us as instructors. And it should be that it's not just about the dollar. For me, it's not just about the dollar. I have a full time. And this is what I do because it's a passion. It's a love for what it is. It's a love for the gun community. It's a love for the 2A, the fact that I have these rights. But I don't have to sell what I got here because it's going to sell itself.
All right, good answer. Good answer.
That's good. So how did, and just to touch on that at the end, what Rick says.
Let's
How do
bring
you
in this
feel?
question real
Have you
quick.
ever
Let's
had
bring in
any?
this.
Yeah, go ahead, add it up.
Go ahead.
And how do you have you had anything like this happen, or can you
So,
even address that?
so his question is, how does the Black woman in her community is treated? One, I didn't start in the firearms in the community. I started in the community. So how do I serve my community first? So that way, when I went out with firearms, my community has rallied behind that because they know that I'm not just out here trying to make a dollar. They know that I'm out here trying to make a difference. And because
Got
of
it.
that, it doesn't, I have not ran into those type problems because my heart is genuine. What I do is for genuine reasons. Then I haven't ran into those problems. When I see people, the second portion of his question is look at her call that they're interested in that I'm interested in self-defense. They love that I'm interested in self-defense because quiet as it kept, everybody wants to protect themselves. Whether that's a single mom, she don't want nobody busting in her house. Whether that's the wife whose husband is gone because he rides trucks, she needs to be able to protect herself.
Right.
Whether it's the kid on her way to college that needs to know how to protect herself without a firearm. Everybody wants to know how to protect themselves. So it's not about, oh, she's into self-defense. When you see me on the street, you wouldn't know that I was in self-defense unless I was wearing my responsibly armed stuff. But at the same time, I am alert, just like everybody else. I don't have to put it on display. I shouldn't have to
Right.
put it on display, right?
That's good.
So in my community, I have a relationship with the mayor. I have a relationship with the councilmen and things like that. Not because I want them to support my business, but I'm here to serve our community.
Very good.
All right.
Much respect. Really.
Yeah, that was a pretty good comeback.
Comeback, that's the truth.
Yeah. Tell him.
I'm trying to be politically
wrong
correct.
choice of words,
So,
sucker. I know. He's the politically correct one, especially for Twitch.
Correct.
I'm ready to get rid of Twitch because the hell with them.
On the range, I talk a little bit different. Al knows. There's another question that came up.
You mean
what?
Anyway, I saw it.
But I'm going to
Mr.
ask,
self-deletion over here.
as a female instructor, do you get since we're talking about that, as a female instructor, do you get a lot of male students? And if so, what age, or if they're white or black, Hispanic?
So I get a mixture. I get male, females. Most of my clients are between the age of 30 and up. I get a lot of ex-military that have only dealt with long rifles and they haven't had, pistol work. On
the ex-military, what is their background? Is their background infantry, or is their background cooks and support?
So it could be a lot of different things. I live in an area, I'm near Robbins Air Force Base. So, I live in an area where there's a military town. So we draw a lot of people in with military experience, not just Air Force, but, we draw a lot of people in. So oftentimes the men that I get are the men that are supporting their wives or their significant others because they want to be there for their families. They want their wives to know how to handle themselves. So I do have, white, I have black, I have any and everybody, because I'm not just segmented to just women, because it's not just about being just women. Now the majority of my clientele is women, and they're black women, but they're also white women. I've had Hispanic women. So people in general that just want the knowledge, how do I protect myself?
It's a different world today, Bill.
Yeah.
Than it was back when we first started doing this.
Oh yeah. You didn't see women doing this, right? You didn't see women, especially not instructors.
I did. There were far and few. A majority were all white.
Right.
Majority of the students when I first started out, there were 90% white guys. Hardcore military background to just average civilians. And So, but now since the scare of a lot of different things, the demographics has changed to where now everyone wants a firearm, wants to learn how to shoot it. You know, that's a good and a bad thing. It depends on how we approach it. Because it's one of the biggest things out there is gun safety, and I don't see a lot of people really trying to be components of gun safety. There's a lot of dangerous stuff going on out there.
I would agree with that. And, the sad part is, as much as I like the fact that we have the concealed carry laws that we have right now, there are a lot of people that are so uneducated about it. They think they can just run out there. That law is not necessarily for us to just run out there and
I have to do a correction. It's a constitutional carry. Constitutional carry.
Thank you.
Right. We don't have concealed carry in Georgia.
I'm sorry. I meant that. Constitutional carry. Yeah. You are absolutely right. But, oftentimes I've run into people, we got constitutional carry now. So I'm 18. I can carry a gun. No, you can't. You can't. So it's a lot of people that don't want to be safe. Once constitutional carry, I saw guys just sticking it in their sweatpants.
Oh,
like, come on, dude.
Yeah.
That's not what we're doing.
Right.
So for me, I will walk up to them like, hey, I could take that gun off you, right? And just really try to educate them, because
what are you talking about? Average people? You talking about average people on the street, or just
No,
she can get away with that.
You can get.
She can get away with that.
You have a lot of privilege that we don't have. So as a female, especially as a black female, you have a lot of privilege that us black males we can't do. I can't go out
as soon as I say the first word to them
and try to correct them on how they're carrying or whatever, and try to offer them a business card. And if I wasn't in that conversation, it's probably going to turn south, and I'm probably going to end up locked up. So I don't do it. I just look at them. I want to take a picture. I take a mental picture, and we come talk about it here on the show. And
because think about when you just said that, it reminds me of when you described that story about the Blade wannabe.
Yeah, when I was at the Publix. Right. I wanted to approach this guy so bad. He saw me looking at him, he gave me side eye. I looked at him, but when the side eye hit, I went in straight into a defensive posture, because I knew I was waiting on the next word. It was like, what are you looking at, MF? Because I was like, okay. And I just didn't push it. So I won't push it. And not unless you come to me openly. I'm a very open person, but you have to, some way or another, like, for instance, I was at the Georgia Fire Line the other day, and I heard a guy in the background talking. I told you this story, right, Al? Didn't I? Mm-hmm. And he was talking about rifles and stuff, and I thought the guy was highly experienced. Then the next thing you know, the conversation kind of wove me into it, and I ended up giving a little education, little pointers and tips, and ended up giving out a business card. And but I was not going to interject into that conversation unless it brought me into it. I have a gray shirt on. I'm a gray man, so I want to be a gray man. That's the way I like life, and for me, it's a little different. But you, as a female, it's harder for you to be a gray person because everybody looks at a woman a little bit differently. Me, I can just walk past somebody and they'll forget about me in 2 seconds. But most females lay an impression on a lot of people when they just in their presence. So it's a little bit different. But
I also like to say that I want to say respect that you actually offer to rectify the situation, because in times I see pocket carry, like literally the dude has a Glock 17 in his pocket. I just got to walk by, and I try to get away from it as soon as possible. I also seen recently a 45 stainless gold. It was a big shiny thing with the pearl handle style. I don't know if they're real pearl or not, but pearl handle shoved in the back of the waistband, and the gun was halfway hanging out. And I got the hell away just so that if the damn thing would go off or whatever's going to happen, it ain't getting me.
I feel you. So my approach is probably, when I approach, is out of curiosity. It's not out of
How do
correction.
you? Okay,
So
I'm the guy.
Yeah.
I'm the
Yeah.
guy. I'm wearing a 1980s shoulder holster with a with a 45 that's flagging everybody right now, and it's Uncle Mike's. Uncle Mike's. So I'm standing in the grocery store getting ready to check out, and I'm exposed. So how you gonna approach me now?
so my approach would be out of curiosity. Hey, what kind of gun is that? And so I'm just going to start asking questions to bring them into the conversation and not necessarily correct them about what's happening. So once they start talking to me, then I invite that conversation. Hey, you know what? I like that you got your gun. I know you want to protect yourself. What's your thoughts about the safety of others? Do they even know the four safety, any of the safety rules?
Right.
And try to get them talking about it in a way that doesn't sound like condemnation versus, hey, I just want to share something with you.
Right. Do you introduce
You
yourself
know,
to them at all, or you just?
I may or may not. It depends on where the conversation goes.
Right.
If they don't have time for me, I was just a curious female. you know,
Right.
if
Right.
they so
Right. That's
otherwise,
good.
hey, you know what? So for me, I approach it not that you need to come into my class. It looks like you know how to handle a firearm. Here's a card for your loved one. Why don't you send them to the class?
Right.
And maybe they can help you out.
Right.
Right.
So my approach is just a little bit different because I want people to be educated. So I'm not just out here trying to tell everybody they're wrong or where they're right. You have a right to carry it how you want to carry it. Just know that what you're doing right now is unsafe.
Right.
So
Yeah.
So leading up to that, the same one on the same vein, do you do demonstrations during your training for your students?
when you say demonstrations, what do you mean?
All right, you do a drill right before you ask them to do the drill. You demonstrate it.
So I can and I will. I could. Again, I don't teach anything I can't do. But I want them to feel comfortable. So they will see me handle the firearm in a way when we come into class, it is very stern about safety. I am very stern about safety. So we practice the 4 safety rules. We make sure they know it. So when I handle the firearm, I let them see me handling the firearm safely. If they want to go out on the range and they say, hey, you shoot it, chances are I am going to shoot it and show them that I can do what I am asking them to do. But I'm encouraging them to do it themselves, because I won't be there when Jim busts through the door.
Exactly. And one of the reasons why I asked about the demonstrations is because I haven't taken the classes, but I've listened to people who've taken other classes with other instructors. And one of the things that they always say, one of the differences is when I've come up in an era where this is how you do it, right? And they would say, you put 4 rounds in the target and I want it to be done under 2 seconds. And they say, go. And it's like, whoa. So you had to have your own imagination and you visualize what you think it looked like, and you did it. So you come up with 4 seconds, 5 seconds, whatever it was. There was nothing, or the person, you didn't even know if that guy could shoot. You couldn't tell. And my years later, as I progressed and got better, I started to realize that there were guys who were teaching me, and this is law enforcement, that couldn't hold what to me, and being nice because this guy over here with the PC words. But this guy wasn't worthless. He was worthless as a shooter, but he was an instructor because he was law enforcement and he'd been around for a long time, but never did a demonstration. So at that point, I kind of made it a point to always demonstrate, and that's some things that I saw. I saw some videos of you, and I realized that, and I think it's worthwhile mentioning, because not every instructor out there is willing to get in front and take that chance, because for whatever reason you can have a bad day, do something wrong, and now you have to explain why that's not a bullseye.
Yeah. So I'm okay with being humble about explaining why it's not a bullseye, because I can call my shots. I know what I did wrong. And not every shot is going to go right through the middle. But I'm also teaching them how to call their own shots. If if I am expecting somebody else to do it, I expect to do it. I'm not gonna, just be out here trying to toot my own horn. Oh, I'm the greatest. No, I make errors too.
Right.
I might shoot low and left and have to figure that out.
Right.
So it is, I still dry fire at home. I still pick up.
You do realize that there are people out there that do classes and they do not demonstrate. They don't, all what you said earlier in reference to handling firearms.
They're saving ammo.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they're saving a lot because
they're saving ammo, dude.
They get up and they demonstrate with blue and red guns, and they don't. Not one live round is fired in the class by the instructor. Everything is done by the students, and a lot of times students don't understand that because they're new. So they take the class.
Hold on, it's kind of changed. Back in the day, you can get away with it, but nowadays you cannot get away with it. You have to perform in front of the students live in order for them to build confidence and trust into you.
So you're going to make me be specific. You want me to be specific?
I'm going to make you be specific. In the late
because it's happening today.
No doubt.
It's happening today, but go ahead.
As an instructor, I've seen instructors come in and it's not about the accuracy. It's not about the proficiency. It's not about any of those things. They get them in front of the class and gun is just popping up. They don't hurt their wrist in a minute. And I've seen other instructors do that. So what you're saying, not be able to even demonstrate, they went out and got their certification. Oh, now they're a firearms instructor, but they're not willing to demonstrate. They're not willing to do it. And they're not willing to put in the work. That's them. That's not me.
Right. Exactly. And so, that's what we're doing a contrast with. That's the contrast is the reason why when we were talking about guests, and the reason why I invited you is because I knew the style that you had and that we can tarnish, or we can polish everything up and we can show the tarnished version versus the shiny version. And that's what we're looking at with you.
Yeah. So, that's why I train. I don't want my students to ever walk away and say, hey, I took Keisha's class and she didn't teach me anything. I don't want, or go to another class and they hadn't already heard what I said.
Right.
There's, of course, I can't cover everything, but
but the things that you need to cover, right? Yeah.
In a basic handgun class, if we're doing some other things, I want you to know how to load your magazine and how to put that thing in there right. So if you had to reload it, and I put them through stressful situations in the class, we're talking about self-defense. How are you going to get this thing out of your purse and put it on target? And you got 3 seconds to figure it out, and do you even carry it in a holster? So small things that we don't think about.
Speaking about that holster, I want to pivot to some different questions. Because you basically answered so many of mine. Do you teach off the body carry or on the body carry?
So I prefer on the body carry, but I can teach. Most people that I deal with are either purse or on the body. So we do learn both ways. How do I get it out of my purse? How to carry it on my body? Because, unfortunately, we haven't been able to do what you guys can do. You're not just going to see me wearing it on my hip. My hip does some other stuff. It's not made for stuff.
Lord.
I'm just saying. I hope that was PC enough for Twitch.
Tell me about it.
You're PC. Yeah.
But even learning how to appendix carry as a woman. I still want to wear my clothes the way I want to wear my clothes. So how do I carry that? And we haven't figured that out. And not until recently are there even clothes for us, that we can carry like that. So that hasn't always been a thing. Like, Al, imagine you telling me how to carry my gun on my body. You can't.
Al.
My body does different things.
Nope. You're right. And going way back, I'm talking about 1986, right? And I remember ladies in the police academy, ladies that I trained years later in 96, where trying to give them the same standard holster that everyone else was given. And they try to put that on, especially women with curves. Yeah. And they weren't large. They were just curvy women. And there was no place for a standard scabbard holster that was outside the waistband to fit without it having to look like something like this.
Yeah, it can't,
Because the holster was like this, and they would put it on, and the bottom would flip out.
Right.
Yep.
There was nothing you can do, and there was nobody, no manufacturer, not Safariland, not Galco, nobody with major police holster companies back in those days did anything to bridge that gap. And women police officers were around forever. At that point, we talking about in the 90s, and even to this day, they have those ones with the little drop leg and it has a little L shape for the outside. But for the most part, women are adapting to what men are already using.
Right.
Yeah, I saw Sheriff Jailer with her firearm canted like that. I didn't even say anything. I was just like,
because that draw stroke is going to be something else.
Holster.
That's something that you probably need some type of physics lesson for to get that out.
Right. Now, do you teach them? Do you teach them how to shoot through the purse itself?
Yeah, through the purse, through the wall. You know, if you have to and you can't clear your garments, you might have to shoot through your clothes. Right. You know, it depends on the situation, but just preparing people. You know, it's funny what I've seen is people are not even thinking about how to protect their house. You know, how to protect yourself if you're home.
Al, your video's locked up. You got this crazy look on your face.
I can see him.
Oh, you can see him? He's moving?
Yeah.
Okay. He's locked up on my end. So I think it's on my end that's causing all the problem.
Wake up those squirrels in your basement to get them running again. Power's throwing down.
Potato chips, and so they can start going. So, do you have a demonstration purse that you shoot through, that you take to the range, and you actually shoot through the purse? Because I have a purse that I shoot through. You know?
No, but that's a good idea. Thanks.
Yeah, buy a cheap purse and show them how it's done, and go from that.
You know, those purses are kind of expensive, so I don't know how
you go
buy a cheap one.
Go to Goodwill and get a purse.
I thought you were talking about a concealed carry purse.
No. Go to Goodwill and get the Goodwill purses and modify a type of rig or something inside of it just for the demonstration purpose. Then go and boom, this is what you need to do, ladies. Boom, boom, boom. Pop some rounds through them. You look like a big G out there. See?
I love it. That's pretty good. So we are in, typically I'm in an indoor range, but that is definitely something that I will incorporate. Thank you for that. I appreciate it.
All right, no problem.
So let me ask you, what's your favorite thing to shoot?
Well, we're going to let him go ahead and ask that question right there. Since you posing that.
What is my everyday or my?
Yeah.
Everyday so EDC? It depends on what I got on.
You got one on there right now?
No, I'm at the house, so it's near me.
Hold on.
Oh Lord, see, here we go.
There you go.
You wanted him to see. Here you go with this stripping. I'll give you $1,
and I got
give you $1. I give him $1 for showing skin.
Al got his on too.
Yeah, I do, but I'm not gonna do all that.
I ain't pulling it out because I got somebody's in the room here and I want to flag them. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm not flagging.
So,
boom.
So it really does depend.
It won't come off until I go to sleep.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it a lot. I would probably have to wear like a belly band holster because my move around in my house doesn't quite look like yours in your house.
Right.
So I don't wear as many clothes as you do in your house. So it looks a little different in mine.
TMI.
Right. Hey. See, and that's what you said.
But that's about
earlier.
being a female.
Yes.
It's about being a female.
Yes. And what you said earlier makes so much sense because it was like everyone does it different.
If I'm out of town,
is your plan.
Yeah.
Yep.
So my EDC could be a SIG.
Let me put this back. Do you have one in arm's reach of you right now?
I do.
Okay. That's all I need to know.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, you said a SIG. So is that as one of the 365 or see, I'm a P226 kind of guy, but anyway.
But the one that I want is a staccato. I really like it. I really do. Okay. If y'all know how I can get one and you can help me out, That would
Nope.
be most appreciated.
Nope.
We're gonna do that. What's that thing called?
I am a Glock guy, and that's what I carry, and that's what I like. And
I mean, I like Glock too. I
that's
do.
all
I have quite a few of them.
yeah.
So what's the greatest gun
have
on the
quite a
planet
few.
right now? What's the greatest gun on the planet?
There we go.
Well,
There we
For
go.
me,
What's the great? No,
Mhm.
general question. What's the greatest gun on the planet? Handgun.
Yeah,
Handgun.
let's specify
Handgun.
handgun. Because she's gotten into rifles too recently.
Oh
yeah. So I like.
we're getting ready to go down
Yeah.
that route too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right.
Yeah. In the planet, I don't know.
For you, your
For
planet.
me,
Mhm.
my planet. So my planet looks very different. It depends on the situation. I'm just saying, because today it could be the staccato, tomorrow it could be the protege. It could be anything. I don't have just one. I like
Okay.
many.
Okay. See,
Okay.
Rick has an idea of what my answer is. To
Right.
me, the greatest one is the one that you have when you need it.
I knew
Right.
that was your answer.
You heard it before too, but
Yes.
that's to me that's it. And mind you, void high point, no high points at all.
Oh,
But
no,
anything-
ever.
But you know
exactly.
that
Now I
was
do
in my
have
mind.
some.
Right.
You know, I have some that I don't like, that I won't carry. Like, you'll never see me with a Sky, that SCCY, the Sky.
Right.
Oh my God, that's the worst thing ever.
Right.
I don't like the M&P, the little bodyguard ones.
Yeah,
I'm
the
not a
smaller they
fan.
are, the worse it is for me. But yeah, I'm a mid-sized guy. I've been carrying 92s, Beretta 92 FS for years. I've carried Sig Sauer 226 for years.
I love the Beretta.
Exactly.
I love the
And
Beretta.
I don't have a problem. 4-inch barrels with the what's the thing called? The G19 was like a godsend back in the day, and now people are looking at those things as though they're too big. And
Yeah.
everyone and the macro is what they're calling the new series of guns, the 365, the Hellcat, the 42 or the slimline version from the Glock. That's all great. I like accuracy married with speed. But
I do too.
depend on accuracy first. And it's going fast and flash, that's great. But if you miss, it don't mean a damn thing.
I'm with that. I believe that.
So I like 4-inch barrels. I like 4 to 5-inch barrels to be more correct on the point. But anyway, all of that to say, when you look at it, when you go to hide, conceal firearms, what is the easiest gun that you found to conceal?
For me, the easiest to conceal is the 365. I can conceal that, and chances are I'll have the 365 on me most times because I can conceal that fairly easily. It fits in my curves right, so, and then it's an easy draw. So,
Right.
it's
So
reliable.
where'd you come up with the name? Another question I wanted to ask earlier, I didn't do it. Where'd you come up with the name Responsibly Armed?
So I was in a class one day and somebody said it, and you know how you get those feelings that's the thing. At the time, I was looking for a name for the business. I really didn't have one. We were in a class and somebody said Responsibly Armed Citizens, but when they said it, it hit me differently. It was a jump in my belly. Like, I knew that this is what it was. And it's forever long. Like, writing responsibly out is long, but it means so much. It means so much to me on different levels that we probably ain't got time to talk about here. But
Go for it. Go for
Go
it.
for it.
So
Give us the thumbnail version.
Yeah.
hold on one sec. I got to get my charger. You gonna drop out? Drop out. So the thumbnail version is this. One, from a spiritual aspect, I want to be responsibly armed and covered in all aspects, right? So if you are, it talks about putting on the full armor of God. So for me, responsibly armed is one, spiritually putting on the full armor of God. Two, I think that it's a level of responsibility that you have to have in order to have a firearm. We've talked about these people that are out here that are reckless, and I think there's a level of responsibility that each person should have. Three, I think it's everybody's own personal responsibility to protect themselves. And because of that, they need to be responsibly armed, not just with a firearm, but with knowledge, with power. All of that is our responsibility.
Right. Thank you. Thank you.
You running for office?
That's right.
No.
We're gonna have to vote for
Yeah,
you in
you will be.
November.
That's right. You put you on the ballot. That was good.
Yeah,
That was
new
good.
Secretary of State. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I won't discount any of it.
So let's talk about this. You just recently got into rifles. So
Yes.
what you got?
So so I believe in this whole buy once, cry once.
Read
Can
the
you hear
screen.
me?
Yeah, buy one. Read the screen though, real quick.
I see you.
All right.
So I have a LW. Yes, I have a LWRCI. I have a SIG, and
SIG
we're working on
400.
MC
don't
something.
make me lie. Don't
Okay.
make me lie about what it is.
You just
I don't want to lie. It might even be just
556.
It is, all of them are 556.
Okay.
Yeah, so I got a lot of them.
Okay.
And if I can get my hands on more, I could.
I just remember that phone call, 3 months ago, text message asking which one, this one or that one. You don't remember that?
Oh yeah, I do.
Okay, it expanded in such a short period of time.
You know.
On to the next one.
So
Next question.
some women like shoes. I like guns.
There
I'm an easy buy. Buy me some ammo for Christmas. Buy me some ammo for my birthday. Buy me a gun for Christmas.
Speaking of that,
I'm easy.
Speaking of you pivot into ammunition, how are you facilitating and gathering your ammo in this time of crisis right now?
Because it's a time of crisis, I'm not going to tell you.
We share to our people because they need to know. We tell them about Georgia Arms. I tell them about Palmetto. I tell them about Mountain. What was the name of that company? Mountain View to order online. Matter of fact, you sent me a link a couple of days ago, Al. And I bought 500 rounds of 45 from that company, so it should be here next week.
That was a good deal.
54 cents
right.
a piece for each bullet. So
you find that under 60 cents nowadays, you're doing good.
Yeah, we share it to our people because they're listening.
Oh, cool. So I'm diligent about my search. How about that? So I'm all of those sites that you're talking about. When it was really bad, I was out at Academy, standing outside. Typically the only Black female out there, only female for some, unless they were holding a spot for their man. Standing outside in the cold, in the rain, trying to get my little 2 boxes or my 4 boxes. And so I've done the hard work because I know I needed to put in work. So I get it from everywhere. I'm not, if Phoenix Arms, you send me a link, I'm ordering some ammo.
Gotcha.
All right. Yeah.
So we had your campaign, your pre-campaign speech just a few minutes ago. Right. So what is it in your community? And we realize that you're really invested in the community now. What is it that you do promote in the Second Amendment outside of just doing training classes? Do you do anything like that?
So, these good old boys down here, they ain't quite ready for me to be promoting 2A. Right?
Yeah, they are. Everybody. 2A. We got to understand when you preach 2A, it opens a lot of doors. So you can't. It
does.
You can't look at it like that. It does. Yeah.
Well, again, it's a strategic kind of conversation. So do I want to just kick down doors and say, hey, listen to me because I believe in 2A? No, I think that it's equal. Let's sit down and let's have a conversation about what 2A means to you and what it means to me. Because in my community, when I was raised, we couldn't even have guns. It was not told to my peer group that we should even carry guns. Matter of fact, they told us to stay away from them because we were killing each other. So now to promote 2A, there's a lot of stop the violence with our teens. They're going to have guns. Let's train them on the right way to use them and how to stay out of jail and not just I got to go out here and protect myself, because some L's are not just losers. It's about your life. Take the L, your life, and walk away from the fight. So when I promote 2A, I'm talking about 2A for our youth, 2A for the single mom, 2A for the father that has to be on the road. It's not just I'm beating down the doors trying to get my way from the politics. No, y'all, they're going to do what they're going to do. It's a lot of money out there. If they want to move it left, they want to move it right, they're going to do that.
Right.
But what does it mean when it comes to my house, my kids, my family, my brothers, my sisters? That is how I promote 2A.
Okay. That's good. Because one of the things that we see a lot of is a lot of instructors, and we try not to like condemn, as we used that word earlier, but a lot of instructors don't do anything more than that. They don't speak out or anything. And not only instructors, but a lot of Second Amendment celebrities, so to speak, the YouTubers and guys like that, they won't take a stand. And there's some that will, and there's others that, based upon sponsorship or connections or whatever, they just won't say anything. And those are the ones that would make a bigger impact if they would speak out. And a lot of these things that we're speaking out on, it's not necessarily whether they agree with it or not, but just tell people about it. And that's what one of the things that you just mentioned is, especially the education of who can carry and the fact that you can buy a firearm. Not everybody can carry. If you're not legally able to carry a firearm, you're still illegal. That's it. Not much has changed. The only thing that changed was the fact that you don't have to pay for it. And that's it. It's as simple as that.
Absolutely right. I don't know who David Films is, but I totally agree with them.
Let me put this up in there. Hold on. Those people are too scared for losing followers and numbers. Yeah, you're right, because they will
sponsorship and money.
Because me, a lot of people know where I stand, and I'm purely against the Democratic Party. The reason being because I know what they're trying to take away your firearms. I'll say it right on air. I don't care. I know where my vote goes. I know who I support, and if you're not with me, you're against me. But I try to preach to everybody and let them know that the party they're voting for constantly is parties that's going to take away your rights. And if you're not careful, they're going to be gone. So I'm not afraid to put myself out there and say my political stance is for the Republican Party, and that's it.
And see,
go ahead.
So the problem that we have as a community is not that I'm Republican or Democrat, is that I don't know what people stand for, like my Republican parties or my Democratic parties, and are they just talking to get my vote, or are they really going to do something? Because if you're not going to put it up, if you're not going to handle business the way that you said you're going to do business, then your vote counted for nothing, right? So if you're just going to protect my 2A rights and say, okay, I am going to do these things, but at the same time, I'm going to put other laws in place that's going to keep me in jail, that's going to keep my brothers and sisters from having the real rights, then don't give me the rights at all.
I understand what you're saying, but now we're at the 11th hour. And the 11th hour is with HR 1808, and that bill right there. If it goes through, we're done. The show's done.
It will gut.
Everything we own is done. So we don't have a choice to play with these politicians right now. And what we want is the old dogs to go, and we want the new dogs to come in, and they have to have a constitutional platform. And if they have that, I'm with you. But if you act up, you're gone after the next election, because
I don't disagree with that.
Right now, we can't play around because we've been playing around for a long time, and now it's starting to catch up to us, and they're figuring it out, and they're figuring out everything to do to us. Now they're hitting us with credit cards. They're trying to go after our money. Now they're trying to go after our bullets. They're trying to go after our components, and now
right now they're trying to go after women.
What do you mean?
This whole abortion rights and all of that. I think they're just taking out what is humanity. So it's not just one thing. It's a lot of stuff.
I'm going to ask you, what does that got to do with the Second Amendment? But
so it's not just about the Second Amendment, because as a woman, I still have to protect myself. So when you talk about the Second Amendment and I've just been raped by somebody, what are my limits then? You know?
gotcha,
Yeah.
gotcha,
So what
'cause that
happens
takes away
then?
your self protection.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
we just had a young lady who shot and killed the person who had
And they
been raping her and put her in
and they
human trafficking,
prosecuted her. They
and they
prosecuted her.
prosecuted her and gave her a long sentence.
Right.
Like, why? She
Right.
did exactly what her 2A rights allowed her to do, which protect
Mhm.
herself because she was in immediate danger. But
Right.
because she's a woman, she can't protect herself. See, it's
Yeah.
not just about the 2A. This is about life in general.
Right.
It's bigger than just owning guns. It
Oh
is
yeah,
Yeah.
it's
because
huge.
when you talk about the three of us on here, and most of the guys that are chiming in, watching from afar. When you talk about the mentality, it's different. It's not just I want to own guns. I want to defend myself. I want to defend my family, because if you can't defend yourself, you can't defend your family. That's just
Yeah.
it goes hand in hand.
Yeah.
The second part of that is with that defense comes all the other opportunities that you have in life.
Well,
Because if you can't move about, then what are you defending?
it
Yeah.
comes all the way back to 1930, and it goes back to control. And if once you strip away your Second Amendment rights, especially in this country because it's in our Constitution, or Fourth Amendment rights, or First Amendment rights go away along with that. And then you will lose control. And now you become enslaved to a government that's going to do whatever they want to you, because they're going to have the military in their pocket, and which we already see. We can already see the FBI and the ATF is also in their pocket. And so that's what we're looking at, not to
Mhm.
be enslaved and controlled.
I
And the
agree.
Constitution was wrote in this country not because they didn't want the people to be enslaved and controlled. They want to be something different, and to have a platform where we can go back on and say, hey, now you're trampling on our rights, because we're born
Mhm.
into freedom, and a lot
Mhm.
of people are born into that.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. So, uh, what you get? You still got something now?
Man, we done covered them all.
We done covered them
All
all.
of them.
You know,
All of
we
them.
did get into rifles now.
Oh yeah, you were talking about rifles.
Yeah. You never get what kind of optics, what kind of grips, what kind of what are you doing with these rifles? I mean, yeah. I mean,
So, outside of protection, in the off season of hunting is when I was practicing and making sure that I know how to use it. So now that the hunting season is upon us, that's what I want to do next. I haven't
Oh
been
yeah.
hunting. I've never gone out and, you know, shot little Bambi or anything like that. So,
So
oh,
you're going to go ahead and put the U spray on,
yeah.
the urine, the deer
hey,
So,
urine.
listen, I might not be doing all that, you know.
so are your ARs all designed for long distance
No, I have some.
shooting, or
I have some that
close quarter?
I have some that will shoot out to 600 yards, and then I have some that are closer. Yeah.
Oh, just 600
So,
yards at
well,
5.56 or heavier?
it might be even 1,000. I haven't
Or,
gone that far yet.
I
Y'all
mean,
know
I'm
some
talking.
ranges where I can go out there and shoot that
Yeah,
far?
I hit
Yeah,
you
we
up.
have one
I
700. We have a 700 out at our
So I want the
facility.
1,000 round one. I want 1,000 yards. I know there's
Yeah,
one
there's
in
one up
Alabama or somewhere.
northern
Yeah, you
Georgia,
have the
North Georgia.
CMP that's in Alabama that has 1,000 yard range. You can actually
Right.
do it, and it's
Yeah.
all computerized too. So you
There's
don't
one
even.
Oh
in
yeah.
Milledge or something like that. Milleridge is 1,000 round. A couple of guys I know actually did that.
Yeah.
They got their little
That's what I want to
coin
do.
for
Yeah.
dropping a round on the target at 1,000 rounds. Pretty cool.
I know that's
Okay,
what I want to do. I want to do that.
All
it's
right.
long distance shooting.
So
Yeah.
there's not a lot that I don't want to do when it comes to one, the sport of shooting, because it
Mhm.
is a sport in some areas, and so the sport of shooting, I want all that,
So, are
and
you
then
consider yourself a more of a sports shooter, sports collector, or a tactical female instructor, or a or or just an average instructor? I mean, what do you consider yourself as? Because you're not a beginner, so you know, Al has he know who he is, and I know who I am, and I know what I can teach, and he knows what he can teach. So, what do you promote yourself as?
I am a firearms instructor that deals with self-defense and tactical. So it's not just
right,
one or the other.
Well, it is. It is because firearms,
and
because firearms instructors and self-defense, those are you can say there's three different categories. Firearms instructor, those are the static guys on the gun range. Then you can have a firearms instructor that's a tactical instructor. Those are the people who go outdoors and do the movement. Then you can have a specialty firearms instructor that's going to teach breaching, teach close quarter, that can teach car movement, and teach a lot of long range shooting. So it's different classes to it.
So I'm not specialty for sure. That's what I want.
Right.
So that's what I aspire to do. But I wouldn't, like I said, I'm not going to go out there and try to teach somebody that stuff that I don't know. It's not theory. I'm not going to teach you theory. I want you to be able to do it hands-on and be able to demonstrate it. And you do it with me and we do it together. So that's one of the things I'll say that I liked about Al when I did go out to his classes. And I've been to, 3-4 of your classes?
Yeah.
Is that, it wasn't just me out there working by myself. He got in there and was working with me. He did this little thing at the end. I think it about blew his mind. He was like, let's see if you could do this. And we were a long way. I don't know how far we were away. But he put me to the test and I was able to walk out like, thank you. And went home. So,
yeah, there's a couple people who don't get that, and guys that are good. Mike Smith, I don't know if he's watching right now. He sees it later. He didn't want to leave. He's like, I got to do that again. I got to do that. So, bro, it's going to get dark soon. And he made sure that before he left, he was able to get it.
Is that the one shooting the shotgun shell?
It could be.
Yeah.
She didn't mention it, so neither did I.
Right. Get out of here. Whatever.
but it's a challenge,
class
right?
If you guys want to know what he's talking about, take the class. He'll get out there and teach you that stuff.
Exactly. And the thing about it is it's just a challenge to push people,
right.
when for me, like currently now Omar's pushing me, right? This is the guy that started out as the student, and now he's moving up, and now he's pushing. And there was somebody that came out a few weeks ago, and we were there, and it was kind of like they were watching. And as a matter of fact, it was Reggie, and I told him, I said, yeah, he's gonna make me shoot today, because I could tell he was rearing, he was hitting all his marks, and I was like, shit.
Man, look, this guy. There he is.
And that's what Reggie said. He said, I'm next. He said, I'm gonna be there next. I'm gonna push you. I said, that's what I'm looking for. And it's the same thing that we're talking about with Keisha is empowering people and motivating them and keep them going. And on that same note, they turn around and do the same thing to you, because you got to stay ahead of the curve. You can't call yourself an instructor if you're standing there and you can't be in front. You might as well just be part of the crowd.
So you saw me.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, Al saw me. I reached out to Al. I was like, hey, there's a competition or something going on at South River, and it was skeet shooting. Well, I had never done skeet shooting, but I knew I wanted to. So went out there, and once you know the mechanics of how to shoot a firearm, all the rest of the stuff kind of falls in place. And so I think out of the 25 they pulled, I might have missed 3, maybe 5. So loved it. But now, I'm like, how do I get better at that? How many more opportunities can I create for myself to be in that type of environment? Because it was some ladies in there that were like Olympic.
We got some Olympic stars.
It was an Olympic. Yeah, I saw her when I came up to see you guys.
We got one that's out there. She's a member of South River. She's won, I think, 3 or 4 gold medals so far.
Yeah. So I was like really stoked. I'm like, give me your phone number. Let me call you because I want to.
And see, that's the networking that we always talk about, and you just hit it right on the nail on the head. A lot of times we allude to it when we say just go out and pay attention, and people will help you. And they're in the Second Amendment community, there are people who are willing, and we don't say they're white or they're black, but more than likely they're white folks, right? And those people will. I've been in competitions where the guy gave me clues on how to beat him, right? I came close the first time and didn't. The second time I did. And it was like, we're not, now I'm saying beat him. It's not 1-1. He came in 6th. I came in 5th. And it was because of the things that he told me about cutting a corner and getting this target faster than him. And he was trying the same strategy that he did. And now, and we've been friends ever since. And this happened back in like 2011.
I love going out to the competitions and watching and learning. And it usually are, the white guys out there that are trying to help. Like, that's how I got into rifles. One of the guys out there kind of gave me the ropes and told me what I needed. And, just really kind of took me under his wings, not for anything else other than my curiosity. Right. It was just being out there curious, like, what is that? And why do you have it? And sometimes that's what it takes for people to even take the class. I'm just curious, I'll go back, just wrap back to a question you asked me. In the community, when people find out that I'm a firearms instructor, it's usually very positive. Their response is very positive because they have questions. And one of the things that I've learned is they don't know who to ask or where to get the information from because it hasn't always been out there.
Right.
So putting it out there.
Now, speaking of that, I know we talked about safety earlier. Have you had any close calls on the range?
Oh, no, not with my students at all. No.
Okay. You had any?
I know Al had me out there on the range, and I put my phone like on his little target, like the target that's behind him, and he was like, "Don't shoot your phone." I was like, "I ain't shooting my phone."
I'm talking about this. Have you had any run-ins with complete Nimrods that that's brain dead people?
See, she's been dealing with ladies, right? Majority.
Well,
so they're smarter than the rest of these guys.
Right.
So I've had some guys that knew a lot. They were very knowledgeable. And again, it's the level of respect that they have to bring to me, but I also give to them. You tell me what you know, because I don't know everything. So if they want to school me and tell me what they know, and then they're shooting low and left, you ready to listen to me now?
Right.
So,
right.
That's the Al approach.
Yep.
I don't have anything to prove. I don't have anything to prove to anybody.
And that's where I come down with that last statement that you said. I don't have anything to prove. And my fallback mentally, a lot of times when I'm dealing with somebody who's just stubborn and listening, I just say, you know what? I know how to shoot already. I already know how to shoot. You came here. And if you don't want to listen or you want to do it your way, and I always say to people, I try to anyway, try it this way. If you like it, keep going. I don't change people if they're capable of hitting the target.
Right.
I don't care if you're using a cup and saucer and you're doing some, 1930, you're holding on to like Barney Fife. If you can do it, exactly, we keep on moving. But what's going to happen is in this modern day, and we're starting to pick up the progressions and the iterations coming faster and faster. Then these grips and all these little old fashioned things fall off. And now you have to listen. And that's all you do. That's all you have to do.
Yeah. I've had
we need to get together and do a class, but go ahead.
Yeah, we do. No, I've had some guys. It was one guy came in. He was like, I've been shooting for a while. I came to support my wife. He was like, but you fix my aim. And it's, being able to see, I can see where you're shooting. I can see what you're doing. Take a little bit of that finger out or, change this hand. And so they appreciate the skills. People want to know why are all their shots going low and left. Right. And as an instructor, I should be able to tell them,
just by looking at it.
Yep.
Right. Then, I can see it happening. And everybody doesn't have that. And, everybody doesn't have to have that. Everybody's not looking for that. That's what I like.
No,
that's what I want to
No. We're not letting that PC go. Everybody has to have that. You absolutely right. If you're an instructor, you have to be able to analyze, and not only analyze, you have to give a way to rectify the problem. You have to.
Yeah.
You can't.
Yeah, I agree.
That was nice what you said, and I appreciate where
Yeah,
you're
you
going
can't
with
really-
that.
yeah.
But you have to.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're not an instructor. You're just somebody
Yeah.
that is hosting a class.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
You got to, yeah.
And there's a lot of hosting of classes out there. I mean, you guys are at
Absolutely.
South River. How many people are out there training people?
At this point, it's over 30. And I'm talking about the legitimate ones. I'm not talking about the guys that, that come in as guests and then they're hosting a class. I'm talking about legitimately, there's over 30 people out there that are called instructors. We're knocking over each other.
Yeah. But they got requirements. You got to have a license.
That's what I said. There are 30 that have done what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Over 30, like 36, 37, somewhere in that area.
It's around in there. That's how many it is.
But almost 40.
Yeah, it wasn't that many when I first started.
Exactly.
I mean, it was far and few.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now we got everybody jumping out of the bushes of being instructors.
Everyone
Personally, I think that there should be more requirements for instructors. That it's not just because you have a military background or because you are trained by someone or you paid for the classes to be certified. I think there should be some continuing education classes that we have to take. There should be some other things. There should be hours that we have to listen to somebody's podcast on safety, if that's the case. I think that it should be
a webinar.
Something you got to certify by listening to a webinar. Even being a part of NSSF, the National Sports Shooting Foundation, or listening to go into one of their classes and how do you run this thing?
Right.
We don't give our instructors enough business sense. How do you keep these businesses going?
Right.
It should be so much more. The requirements should be so much more.
A guy said this on a podcast that I watched when he was doing it. And he said the majority of the new instructors that are coming out are running this as a side thing. It's just something ad hoc. And the reason why he mentioned some of the bigger name guys because that's their first and foremost. That's how they eat. And then I started looking at some of the newer ones, and you can see where it's the same thing because not everybody wants to take a class, right? And then when people find out how much the three of us, have spent to get to the certain level that we are from taking classes, they don't understand. That's why it costs this amount of money for you to come here for 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever time period it is for your class. This is not trying to recoup the money. This is how much I value my time in order to give to you. So I can't do it. And I've done straight up, I've done prostitution classes where it was like the numbers that I'm charging. It was just like, you got to be kidding me. I'm worth more than this. Yeah. That was for Twitch, y'all.
Yeah. No, I was just laughing about that because when I got, my story. When I got out the military, I have a litany of weapons I was qualified on. And a lot of rifles and recoilless, rockets and all types of other stuff. But I was not proficient in handguns. So I spent a year and a half taking certifications and courses to get up to speed in order for me to teach my first class. So that's what I did. And still today, I try to take a class from an instructor. I'm about to get into Red Dot here pretty soon. So I got a class I'm going to take out of Dahlonega probably sometime next year on how to shoot a red dot. And constantly got to take a class with somebody to learn something different. So
another one. I got another one, Keisha. This one's for you. She comes out. We go ahead and we're getting set up and everything, right? At the end of the day, I look over and she's packing a bag, and I look in the bag and I see this thing. Something said certified instructor. She never once mentioned that. And the thing was, she was with those two stories what he just said and what you said, married, because she said, I'm not ready yet, but I'm going to be soon. And that right there was what reason why she's on with us now, is because it was one of those things that somebody that's genuine, that knows where they fit in, and they're going to get it there because they want to get to a certain level and before they jump in. Where we have a lot of people who just like to talk and they like to be in front and they like likes. So they said, you know what, I'm an instructor. No, you're not. No, you're
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Now,
I think.
Go ahead.
I actually took, you talked about red dots. I took a red dot class from someone at South River. What's his name? I forget his name off the top of my head, but it was really good. It was effective. I love my red dot. I think I have a red dot on just about all my guns. I keep one that's iron sights just so to keep me honest, but I think red dot classes are awesome,
And the funny thing is, as a few people on here can attest, I teach red dot. I don't carry red dot, but I know how to teach it because I'm an instructor.
Right.
So I have to pay attention. So it's almost the same thing, the same learning curve that I had. And I really dug my feet in the ground when it came to red dots or any optics on my rifles. But I took a class, and while in the class, the instructor gave me his rifle and taught me some things on how to get this gun up and work it. And then I realized
pistols.
And then I realized at that point, like, yo, you know what? This is faster than my sights. Because at that point, my sights, I wasn't that far behind. But again, behind is the key part of that. So I was keeping up in the class, and then he switched me and said, here, try this. And I think he had an ACOG at the time. This is back like 2012 or something like that. Absolutely. But, he was a government guy, so he had ACOGs and everything. And that right there opened my eyes. And it was like, wow, okay. So, but it was the experience that you had to have in order to get to the next level and have somebody that knows what they're doing. Same thing when I teach red dot, it's because, a lot of times people get like, whoa, you really going to do that? Yeah, because you're not looking at the dot. You want to superimpose the dot on the target. And at that point, when I show them that, and it's like, I take their gun and work the same thing that they were just doing. And it's like, I just know how to do it. And once you understand it, you can do it. But it's surprising to a lot of them because I don't have anyone on my pistols.
Yeah. I love it. I've trained a few people on the red dot and they love it. So it makes it easier. It's faster. But like I said, I also like my iron sights because I feel like it keeps me honest. It keeps me in the game. I can't keep telling people, hey, you got to do this with your iron sights that I don't remember because I've been shooting my red dot. So.
Right. It's the same thing working with somebody who's left-handed and you're not. Right. See? Right.
So I'm left-handed, but I shoot right-handed. So it's always interesting.
So you left eye dominant as well?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm the same way. I'm left eye dominant.
All three of us are.
And right-handed shooter. My left eye was damaged, so it's trying to hang in there. So
it hasn't fallen out yet, like it used to.
Not yet. It's not as good as
it used to.
Yeah. We got a question for one of the audience. Let's see. It's not a question, but I think it's a statement.
This is Rick.
Yeah. Oh, Rick. I personally think you guys should be more selective about who you teach classes.
Who might face them in a civil war breaks out.
Let me tell you a little story behind that. When I first started teaching these hardcore tactical classes back in the day, 2011, 12, 13, I did have some people I know who didn't look like me and didn't believe in the same things I believed in. And they were a little bit on the hardcore right side. And but I taught them, and I taught them well. And because we had something in common, but they sent one guy down to take the class from me, and he was going to go back, disseminate that information to him. They reached out to me and wanted me to come up to teach them at their facility. And they talked to me for at least 2 hours on the phone, how I was going to teach them, what they wanted me to teach them, asked me my background and everything. They were in love with it, but the group did not approve of it because who I looked like. And so I didn't mind. It was no big deal to me. Because I've seen that same world in the reconnaissance world. It's It was normal to me. So you have
So
those guys.
Antifa went to somebody else to get their training. That's what you're trying
No,
to
it
say?
wasn't Antifa. It starts with a K. Starts with a K, my man.
Same group. Same.
Yeah,
Group.
right. But
So you mean to tell me that you could have stopped everything that happened in the Summer of Love out in Seattle? It was all your fault.
The reason being, I know I have a skill set, and I have guys
got a special set of skills.
There you
who
go.
are
Keep going,
who are like that. Reaches out to me and say, "Hey, we need you to be with us." And sometimes they don't. I'm a little skeptical, but they don't look at my color. They look at my skill set because they figure if you get a guy like him on your side, he can teach everything. Maybe they would put one in the back of my head at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? But if they know a guy like me, if I go berserk, I'll be their enemy.
Right.
I think
that's what Rick was saying. That's what he was mentioning.
So they don't want me to be on the opposite side of them because that makes them nervous. So they want me on their side. So they do everything they can to reach out and to find. We have a common ground. The common ground is violence and firearms, and so we try to bring those common grounds together and see if we can work together, know each other, or whatever we need to do. And it is what it is. It always had. I've never had looked at it any different way. I've had a platoon sergeant who was a member of the K division, but the guy taught me everything I needed to know about ground warfare. And he was ex-special forces, and so I take it for whatever it is. If that knowledge is out there, I take it, soak it up, and I give it right back out because I can't take it with me once I pass on. So. Yeah.
Al, I'll tell you, the first time I met you, you scared the life out of me. I don't know. Not Al, Alfonso. Alfonso scared me. Yes. So
why did
class?
Okay.
I'll tell you in a second. Give me a second. I'm gonna tell you. So your special set of skills. But we were in a rifle class. I was the only female there, and it was a whole bunch of guys, and everybody had on all this stuff. And I was just like, man, I ain't even got a belt. Like, I don't have the proper gear. But you came out there, and just your level of knowledge, the way you carry yourself about the whole thing. I was nervous the whole time. When you left, that's when I started shooting. I was messing up everywhere. I was like, oh my God. Like, oh Lord. I even told him.
Yep.
I told Al, I was like, I'm so glad he gone.
I remember. I said, don't worry about him. And then I said to her then, I told her, I said, you know what? That's the difference. Because the basic guy, this guy over here, the basic guy, the guy that gets bring people in, you got to be able to encourage. You got to be able to, even when somebody's doing something wrong, you got to continue to say the same thing over and over again. And then you got a guy like that over there. You got to come in because when you start moving and shooting and you're doing different tactics, it got to be 100% safe. There's no 99% safe.
Life
it can't be
death.
99. You got to be 100% safe.
And I have to see it in everybody's face before I even do it.
Exactly. And I saw that the first time I took a course with him, and that's when it was kind of like, you know what? Because when we finally put this together, it was one of those deals where I really enjoy dealing with new people because it's. I understand how it is to not communicate, and somebody tells you something, they say, they pick up a gun and they fire 5 rounds into the target. Bam, bam, bam. Here, now it's your turn. Well, what the hell you just do? You got to break it down and explain it to the person step by step in order for them to understand it. And sometimes after you break it down, you got to say it a different way. The same words, the same information, but you have to say it a different way. And then sometimes after that, you got to do it a third time because they're just not getting it. And then that third or fourth time, they go, oh, you just mean squeeze the trigger? Yeah, the sights are not going to go anywhere. And then you're like, but you done said that 4 different ways. And then you get it. When you do something like what we did, and we had about 16 to 18 people out there, and you got guys with AKs, guys with ARs, you got guys with pistol belts and, battle belts and all kind of gear, and they want to use it all at one time. And that you can't have.
Right.
So Rick clarified himself. He was talking about people who look like us. Yeah. Rick, I didn't recently starting to get people who look like us until the last 3 years. I think Al get people who look like us all his training sessions, but me, those people don't reach out to me. For me to get them out there in the range, I'm just now recently getting those people who look like myself to come out to the range and take some classes, and they get blown away. And for what I know, and but the other guys who come out there who don't look like me and the same color as me, and when they come out there, they get blown away, but they suck up the knowledge and try not to what I want to say, try not to buck the knowledge, but absorb it. And people who look like me in the same color try to buck the knowledge instead of absorbing it. And,
you know what I found? I heard the word you're saying, buck, but I found that a lot of times dudes don't want to be upstaged. You know what I mean? Even though they're in a class, they think they know stuff already. Why are you here? You're here to learn, and I'm here to teach. So you're not going to know as much as me. I do this every day. There's something every day that I do when it comes to firearms, whether it's dry firing or reading something. If you're not going to match that level and do that, you can't expect to know all of this stuff. I have incidents on a daily basis where people go, "Damn, you knew that?" Yeah, I'm like a gun nerd. Sorry, I mean there's guys that have more extensive knowledge than I do, but I have a very extensive cursory knowledge about a little bit of almost every way you can fire a projectile, and that is what I see. What he was saying about bucking, I think certain people want to have some type of foundation to say that I knew that, or I had to understand, when you know damn well they didn't have a clue what you're talking about.
I see it once I got on the range, because I put everybody through a test, and those tests out there is designed to make you fail, and so I can see where your problems are at. And if you're talking a lot of smack, and I'm going to see the failure, so then I know the level to start at. And, and this was Rick, I make you feel a certain way, so push you to do better.
Yeah, that's when he starts doing this.
I would
Let me
agree
see if I
with
get it right there. Yeah, that what's this thing called? The karate chop. The
I'll
knife
only
hand.
do that when
There it goes. He got it right now. He did
when
that.
it's
You was
safe,
too cut.
when it's safety involved. You know, when it gets dangerous, and I'm feeling, speaking of that, do you wear plate carrier, any type of body armor when you teach your classes?
When I'm outside, if we are, depending on what we're doing when we're outside, yes, I will. Most of my training right now is on the inside. Okay. So, it's too hot to be outside, and you ask some black folks and black women to go outside to go shoot a gun during the summertime. They ain't doing that.
Right. They don't. They're not doing it.
So I got to go where the customers, feel comfortable. I want them to feel comfortable. And then there's a level that you have to get to. Personally, I don't take them outside until we've been through 3 indoor classes. I got to know that you can handle the gun. Right. I'm not taking you outside to roll around in the grass and all that stuff. Well, I got to question whether or not your safety is your skills on safety are good, because now you're putting me at a higher level of danger. In an indoor range, it's a little bit more controlled. So you got to run some paces before we get to outside. So you guys are straight outside. So I have the fortunate ability to be inside. So it looks a little bit different for me.
Right. Yeah, I did the indoor thing for a while, and it's just it restricted my freedom. So
it does.
And see, when you just mentioned in reference to restriction of freedom, I restrict people's freedom when we first start. Yeah, I got 3 and 4 rounds, and that's when you're in the middle. Yeah, when I first come out, somebody's never shot a gun before. There's 1 round in the gun. There will be no mistakes happening. And if we do have a mistake, it'll be 1.
And if I don't know you, you ain't holstering. That's gonna be on the barrel downrange.
Right.
And they got tables out of South River now.
Especially if I'm out there by myself.
Tables. Yeah. Exactly.
Or if I'm not out there by myself, I'll tell Al, hey, stop through, make sure I'm still alive.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I started at this time. Come check on me in 20 minutes.
Right.
Yep.
But this was go ahead.
No, I was going to say our safety. One of my little taglines is, I need you to leave here with the same number of holes you came in here with. So
Right.
You just can't go shoot with me. People like,
Right.
yeah, we can go shooting. No, we can't go shooting. You come take my class first and
Right.
let me find out if you can shoot for real.
Okay, so I asked you a question.
Yeah, that's the final question, guys. Here we go.
Yeah, it's going to be the final question. We're going to wrap up the show, guys.
So how do I encourage my students to continue practicing on their own? So part of what we talked about earlier was that I contact them later on. So before they leave my class, I give them some drills. I'll give them a call later on. Hey, have you tried that? What are you thinking about? Have you set up your home safety plan? What have you done differently since you spent your money and invested in yourself to get better? So when they see me, typically they're running the other way. So I already know that they haven't practiced. But I do try to get them really encouraged, really involved in the process. So instead of all the likes, I may not get a whole lot of likes, but I get a whole lot of repeat customers because I invest in them and not just expecting their likes and all of that stuff. So encouraging them, trying to keep them empowered to do what they just did. I send them pictures of their hands, like, practice this at home. This is what your hand looked like when you were in my class. Right. So whatever you go back home and do, make sure it's right. We're going to practice the right thing all the time.
Right. Yeah, because a lot of times that happens. Go ahead. Somebody have?
No, I saw another question. I don't know if it was your question.
That was the same one?
That was the same one.
No,
yeah,
no, it was a different question earlier about my EDC and what I recommend for women. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't recommend any guns for women until they have put their hands on it. If they haven't touched it, felt it, played with it, made sure it fit them. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't recommend a gun for a female because there's not a female gun. There's not a male gun. There is a right gun.
Thank you.
So,
they all spit that fire.
Thank you. Because you got people who out here that say, "Oh, I need a revolver because my cousin who was in the 8th division said that I need a revolver."
Do you know how heavy that trigger is on that revolver? And then you got to pull the hammer back. No, you don't.
Exactly.
So we want to thank everybody. Right. So we're not finished yet because I still got to wrap up. So he said, "Right on," and right on. And
talking your language in 1970s.
Yeah. Look at that. All you guys, I'm gonna pull up Keisha's Instagram page. You guys go to her page, give her a follow, and let her know you appreciate the show. Follow, like some of her content on her page, and there it is. Responsibly Armed.
And there's a website too.
And there's a website on here too. So you can go to that, click right there and go to that. And she's got all her content on there. When she has special events, you guys maybe go check her out, see what she's all about, and take one of her classes. Don't be shy. It's all out there. I want to thank you guys for asking all the questions. This is a good show, ladies and gents. Thank you guys for asking the questions. Thank you guys for being patient and answer the questions. Oh, I missed Omar. There he is right here. Look at that. Thank you, Keisha. Yep.
I haven't seen Elmar in a while.
Yeah.
Right. And thank you guys for coming on the show. Really appreciate it. Mm-hmm. And only thing I have to say, you guys, take classes, be prepared. November 8th is coming up. Get down there and get yourself registered. Be ready to vote for gun only. Other
everything
than that,
else will fall into place.
Right. Other than that, it's getting cooler, so I'm getting ready. The old turtle's starting to come out of his shell, and he's going to be on the range. So if you guys want to get out there and get some, let me know. What you got, Al?
Same thing. I appreciate it. Thank you again, Keisha Winston, and for the future. We get together and put a class on. I think that would be really cool.
Since you're our guest tonight, you got any last words for us?
One, I want to thank you guys, Saber Team Tactical, for allowing me to come on and have a few words, spend a few moments with you guys. I really appreciate all you have done on and off this call. And if you are in the area, go see those guys. Great heart. I love Al and what he's doing for the community. Alfonso, I'm still scared of you, but yeah, go see him too. So for me, if you're in the middle Georgia area, anything south of Atlanta, come see me in Macon. I want to help make sure that you can safely, properly, and responsibly carry a firearm.
All right. We're going to log out, you guys.
Bravo.
Hang tight, Keisha. Don't go nowhere.
All right.